Here are 3 reasons for why God may not be answering your prayers. Because there are things in our lives that can hinder our prayers from being answered. The first is praying with the wrong motives. James chapter 4 verse 3 tells us this: you ask and do not receive because you ask with the wrong motives, so that you may spend what you request on your pleasures. Another reason for why God may not answer your prayers is if you harbor iniquity in your heart. In Psalm 66:18, David says, "If I regard wickedness in my heart, the Lord will not hear." And what David is articulating here is that if we live a life practicing sin and deliberately falling into sin, knowing that it's there, that it's a problem, but without doing anything about it, that this does in fact hinder our prayers. It's a little bit different when you're struggling with sin and trying to get out of it versus you are willfully sinning and not trying to do anything about it. And the latter thing that I mentioned is what's going to get you in trouble. And the last reason for why God may not be answering your prayers is simply because you're not praying the will of God. The Bible tells us in 1 John that we have a confidence towards God that if we pray anything in accordance to his will, that he hears us and that we'll have what we request. But if you're not praying the will of God, naturally, you cannot have that confidence. Some of us pray for things regularly that are very clearly outside of God's will and God's way. And we wonder why God is not giving us certain things. Maybe it's because he doesn't want that for you. And I might as well give you a bonus reason for why God may not answer your prayers. If you're a man and you have a wife and you mistreat your wife, that's also another reason for why God may not be answering your prayers. But I tell you these things because I don't want your prayers to be hindered. And I want to bring awareness to this so that you can course correct yourself in case you've been doing these things and then wondering, well, God, why aren't you answering my prayers? So I hope that this helped and that you learned something new, that the Spirit of God convicted those who we need to convict. And if you want more content like this, just go and drop a sub or a follow.